Hi guys, my name is Lisa and I'm going to be answering some questions today. Before I get started, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to Work Great Movement.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you and everything that you...
Okay, so let's get started. My name is Lysa-Marie Asiedu-Yeboa. I'm 21 years old and I'm an actress, singer and content creator. I like to just work with my surroundings. I like to make music that talks about people's feelings and emotions. I'm very much in my feels. I like to also portray societal and global issues through acting as well. That is probably one of my favourite things. Okay, what my work is. I sing, I act and I make content on YouTube, on TikTok and on Instagram. I'd say currently I am freelancing in the sense that with everything that's happened with COVID-19 a lot of my plans have been paused. But we thank God regardless that I'm still able to have a little setup at home, still work on writing music, still kind of work on my acting craft. And yeah, just making the next steps towards my ultimate vision of just performing full time. It's also really important for me as a singer and actor right now to keep getting better at my craft. I think university was a big comfort blanket for me, and so now that I'm not at uni it's still important for me to continuously better myself in any way, shape or form, getting involved in as many stay-at-home kind of projects that I can, and yeah, just keeping myself occupied, keeping myself creative and productive.
And I wouldn't change a thing.
How did I get myself to where I am now? This is an interesting question for me because I feel like I have not reached the heights in which I would want to be yet, but I'm optimistic and I'm happy with the work rate, see what I did there, that I'm going at now. I'll just give you a bit of a background. I grew up in the church, I'm a Christian, so a lot of my artistic influence and a lot of my artistic experience started off in the church, whether that's a church play, whether it's singing, whether it's choreographing a dance with the Sunday school kids, like that was just me. And then when it hit around year 9, I didn't really know what GCSE to pick. I had my I had catering down, I had history, what else did I do? Spanish, I did Spanish as well. And that fourth option was kind of between music and acting, and I feel like I was particularly spun by the whole idea. I just never had to work towards my future before that point, as I think a lot of people can relate to. I literally took drama on a whim. It was crazy that it happened that way, but I thank God it did. It has literally been one of the most fulfilling things I've ever gotten involved with. It's not an easy thing to get into, as I will soon explain. It is something that I feel like has so many rewards to it in terms of being able to look at global conversations or societal conversations in a different way, from being a part of a performance and feeling like you're a part of a group and a family and you have this own little community. I'm just really happy that I took it. How I got into singing, like I said, I've been singing from birth, out the womb. I'm coming from a very musical family, and especially with my auntie. We all used to sing together and stuff, and just growing up listening to gospel music as well as like R&B, rap, etc. But I first started writing music like 8, something ridiculous like that, and it was something about, I don't know, buzzy bees or listen. 4 years ago I wrote a song called Priority, which is out now, and that was just me, like the first time I actually put any kind of like emotions or like observations down from a maturer standpoint, in terms of like I wasn't singing about bees. And then yeah, from there I've just kept writing. I've only released 2 singles so far, in 2017, 2018. Just before my 19th birthday, I signed a contract with a production company where I had to record 2 singles, and that was it. And I did that, and it was a really big learning curve for me. Like, I'd never been in studio before them, really realising how my voice works. Even listening back to it now, there's so many things I've learned in terms of how I like myself to sound, how I don't like myself to sound. And yeah, that's basically how I got to the point of releasing music. I also just graduated from university, hallelujah, thank you Jesus. Yeah, that was a journey and a half. It was a very difficult journey for me, but I think one thing that really pushed me was the passion. When you care about what you're doing, when you can genuinely say you love what you're studying, I think it's a lot easier to push through those difficult times. Things of hopelessness are something that, I think a lot of my struggles, even though there were physical aspects, like for example creativity, money, you need the peas, but apart from things like that, I think a lot of it is mental and emotional strain. Just that feeling of uncertainty. Again, self-doubt is major when you're creating, because it just always seems like you can notice something that could be done better. And just this hopeless feeling of sometimes feeling like the industry that I'm going into is unpredictable. It's difficult to see and feel like you're able to make it, and sometimes the important thing is to realise that focusing on your lane and bettering your craft as much as you can is the only thing you're really in control of. I mean, nobody knows when they're going to get their big break, and that's kind of the point. If you focus so much on when the break's going to come, you might not actually be ready for it, and that's something that I never wanted to see myself in that position. So that's something that I really work on now, is that making sure that I'm making the best music I can from my little home setup. I'm making the best YouTube content I can with what I have, some Instagram lives, making some cool TikTok content, and yeah, just making sure that I'm doing my best where I can. So I just graduated from uni with a first class honours degree, which I'm really thankful to God for, because uni is not easy. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't quite understand. I mean, you see people shaking leg, going out, you know, living away from home. You can cook whatever you want, you can eat whatever you want, you live with your friends. But there are a lot of like mental and physical and financial strains that uni kind of bring upon a person, that finishing in such a way is not something that I take for granted. The second year I was diagnosed with anxiety, which was really left for me. At that point, thought I really had my emotions in control and I'd reached a certain level of emotional stability. But like going through counselling and just understanding the mental health conversation in general is actually the thing that helped me get the first degree, because that was what I did my dissertation on. I think it's with obstacles, whatever they are, in the quickest summary I can say about that is you've got to turn your lemons into lemonade. Everyone's heard it a billion times what you do. Especially as a creative, turn your hard times, turn your hardship, turn your emotional like difficulties, turn your setbacks into art. Turn them into art, turn them into creativity. I think that that's something that I want to look into doing in the future with music and acting. Who are my role models? Now I feel like everybody can see the obvious. There's always like people in the creative industry, the Beyoncés, the Kirk Franklins, the Viola Davises, the Kerry Washingtons of the world who I look up to. But when I speak about myself personally, on a day-to-day level, I'd say my parents are my role models. They really taught me what working hard is. They told me and taught me from day, like, my passions are everything. What I'm passionate about is what I should be putting my energy into. Whatever my God-given talent is, these guys back me so hard, so hard, and I see that in them, and that's something that I want to be for my future children. Something that I really aspire to be is somebody who's able to encourage those around me, pour into people who are around me, and to be an encouragement. I think that's why I'm somebody who loves promoting others. I feel like that's something that I got from my parents and that supportive environment that I grew up in. I will say that my role models are my family, my parents in particular. Being around people who chase what they want and our go-getters has been so helpful. My creative friends, they're just watching everybody around me releasing music, getting into acting schools, and just doing things like that. It's just something that has always encouraged me. So I know a role model is meant to sometimes be like this big unreachable person, but I do feel like my parents, my friends, creatives around me, those are the people that actually inspire me to be better, to do better. So what would be my advice for someone else? That is such a humbling question, because I feel like I'm still at the point where I'm a sponge and I'm trying to soak in advice. What my advice would be, I would say do what fulfills you, do what is within line with your God-given purpose, no matter how hard it is. I feel like we all know nothing in life comes easy. If it comes easy, more time is probably not worth it. This is what this page is all about, the manifestation of work. It's not always going to be the thing that makes you the most affluent straight away. It's not always going to be the thing that gives you the most money straight away, but it's important to work on your skill and be in a field that makes you passionate and you care about. Focus on your God-given lane. If you keep looking, you're gonna forget like this is where you are. Sometimes turn inwards. It's good to turn outwards and get advice and look what people are doing and get ideas, but sometimes focusing too much on what everyone else is doing can actually distract you from what you need to do. When it's time, you will shine. Ooh, bars. When it's time for you to do what you need to do, it will happen. Even me, I'm still waiting and praying on it. When it's time for us to be where we need to be, it will happen. It will happen, it will happen, it will happen. Plan what you're doing. Even now in lockdown, I've already made plans for the next 3 to 6 months on what my goals are. If you don't plan you plan to fail. Everyone's heard this. You have to plan. You cannot assume that everything in life is just going to pop up. As much as, you know, I don't doubt God. He can give you anything at any given point in time. But one thing that's really important is to plan. Where do you want to be in 6 weeks? Where do you want to be in 6 months? Having those constant check-ins with yourself, especially if you're in a freelancing creative situation, is really, really important. Maybe get a friend that you can be accountable to who you trust as well. Do not feed into your self-doubts. Do not do it. Look at yourself every day. Positive affirmations, positive mantras. We can achieve whatever we want to achieve. Don't limit yourself because you saw so and so do it this way, or you saw such and such do it that way. Don't limit yourself, don't doubt yourself. If you have a feeling that I could be better at this, rather than beating yourself up about it, just find a way to get better. Whether that's workshops, TED Talks, YouTube videos, speaking to a friend who you know is better at it than you. Always be willing to not only just take on advice, but to actively do something with it. Thank you so much to WRKRT for asking me to come on here and answer these questions. Please guys, do check out my different socials, check out my Instagram, check out my TikTok and YouTube for some more content. So I'm going to be releasing more music under the name Lysa-Marie, which is on all streaming platforms. So go have a listen to Priority and You, which are out now. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.
Stay by my side, keep me alive.